What's up guys, welcome to Stained Glass DIY. We're finishing our TP project with some soldering today. So we've drew up our TP design, we've cut our glass using those patterns, and we've ground and foiled our glass. And I'll link those videos below for you if you're just dropping in today. So now we're ready to solder these pieces together, and the tools we need today are a soldering iron or a station, some 60/40 solder, and some flux, and a brush. And that's it. Let's do it.
Okay, to start, I've got this 16 gauge wire to use for our TP top to simulate the poles that normally stick out of TPs. So I'm just going to cut an approximate length off for each side, and we'll bend them to match the angle of our TP. We'll solder them onto the sides like this, and I'm just eyeballing the length where I bend the wire at. That looks good, and let's do the other side. And our jump ring can go right in the middle. Now we're ready for some soldering, so let's hold down the pieces by tacking them one by one. Just one spot should be enough to hold, and take your time lining them up correctly. And don't forget the flux. Here comes the fun part. Brush the flux all over that copper foil and start adding the 60/40 solder. Run a bead of solder along each line and go as fast or as slow as you need to let that solder melt onto the foil. My temp setting on the soldering station is at around 750 Fahrenheit or 400 Celsius, and that's been a good setting for me. It all depends on your speed and the elements and climate you're in, which is why I love having that variable temperature control to be able to dial the precision that much more. I normally do the front and the back sides first, then the edges, but I'm sure there's a correct way for that. I also like to move around a lot on the glass so I don't overheat one particular spot. And you might notice that it takes a lot of runs per line before it's a nice smooth bead. But that could just be me, so does it take you a few runs as well to get that nice smooth bead lines? Let me know in the comments if you guys know a better trick. Okay, we're done with glass soldering. Let's get these wires on. This was a little difficult to solder on because my main piece was floating around. My suggestion would be to pin it down on a board so it won't drive you nuts having to hold both items together while soldering. And the final thing to add is the jump ring in the middle for hanging. I'm still not sure how to best get the jump rings on, but I'm guessing getting that homosote board or something similar would do the trick. For now, I'm freestyling it to make it work. So we're done with soldering. Let's give it a good scrub in some soap and water. Rinse and dry it out completely, and let's keep going because we're almost done. For some reason, I added the chain on prematurely, so just wait until the final step after the waxing stage to add it on, so you don't have it flopping around like me while you're trying to clean the piece. I like to use fine steel wool to scrub the solder to a nice shine and get rid of any leftover flux residue. Apply the polish on, and once dry, use a new towel to buff the glass surface and everything for a nice shine. The final step is to wax the entire piece for coating protection and shine. I really think you can go either way with a wax or a polish compound, so maybe next time I might just skip one or the other.
That's it. We finished our TP project. It was a super fun piece to work on, and I hope you guys liked it too. I especially love the simple lines and the straight cuts, making it easy and great for a beginner project. So hit that like button if you guys like this design and had a good time with it. Subscribe if you haven't, and thank you to those of you who already do. Thank you guys for following along. I really do appreciate it. And say hello in the comments and let me know how I'm doing. But let's continue this and keep making some fun and cool stained glass art together. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.